I just threw together a few things today just for you to take a look at, do your own research, expand your own knowledge because knowledge is power, right? So I'm going to jump in. Here's Bitcoin chart today. I've just, don't mind my trend lines here, but we sit about here today. Interesting patterns, I mean, one of two things could happen. We could go down, we could go up, right? Nobody has a crystal ball until it happens. We're currently at about $38,000. We haven't cleared that $40,000 mark yet. And that's really, we just need to see that to see if there is any type of bullish action at minimum in that $41,000 range, which we just haven't hit. Now we have had a pump. You can see that altcoins are following, which is always nice to see when you see that green, when you wake up to check what's going on in the markets in the morning. But I just can't help to think that this is just kind of another pump and dump. And again, we just don't know what's going to happen in the future here with everything that's going on in the world. And financially, we've coming out of a pandemic, which we're technically still in, but with the stimulus checks and what we've had, it's almost unprecedented in we've never had anything like this before. It is unprecedented. And so, which leads me into next what I want to talk about. Excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold here. There was an interview done here on January 26, 2022, Bloomberg Markets and Finance, with Jeremy Grantham, who is the CEO of GMO. And he's basically explaining his bubble or super bubble analysis and theory. And there's multiple threats to the economy and the planet. And I just highly, highly recommend you taking the time to watch this. In fact, I watched it twice because there was just so much information to process. Interesting, and it's true. I mean, all we hear, especially with Bitcoin and altcoins, is buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. But are we really looking at what is going on? Are we zooming out? I mean, they say just zoom out, and look at the past of Bitcoin, and okay, we can do that. But I mean, zoom out to 1929 when we had the Great Depression. And this man he called the collapse of 2000, the housing collapse of 2007. And so he's been pretty spot on. But anyway, I would highly recommend watching that entire interview because I really, really want people to make educated decisions on when they decide to invest in this digital asset. Now, which brings me to my next point, which is, he says during times of bubbles bursting, and if we have we have the possibility of a housing bubble bursting, stock market bubble bursting, our supply chain issues, all these things at once are happening right now. And when do they come to a head, and when does it burst, and what happens at that point? And of course, people stop spending money, and then there's this downward spiral effect, right? So usually what people do when there is a recession or a depression is that they invest in commodities, right? So there's gold, silver, right? Which is a smarter asset to own during those times. Now, Bitcoin has been considered or called an inflation hedge, right? So the jury's still out on that. Now, just like simply put, what are commodities and inflation hedged? Because commodity prices usually rise when inflation is accelerating. Investing in commodities may provide portfolios with a hedge against inflation. In contrast, stocks and bonds tend to perform better when the rate of inflation is stable or slowing. Okay, and like I said, commodities are gold and silver, right? Now, Motley Fool, okay, either you like them or you don't, but is Bitcoin a good inflation hedge? There's a lot of people that say yes, because Bitcoin is a scarcity asset, right? There's only 21 million Bitcoin available. And once they're mined, that's it. It's a limited supply. So it's that supply demand theory, right? It's like there's limited supply, high demand, the price of Bitcoin is going to ultimately go up, right? And that's just simple economics, which I agree with 110%. But as we've seen, it hasn't been a hedge. It hasn't proved itself. Now, again, we are in these very uncertain times, and we're in times that are unprecedented with the pandemic, with the huge influx of stimulus that we had. So we're just not in a place to say Bitcoin is a hedge or isn't a hedge. Now, I would lean more towards the hedge. I do believe that personally because it is a scarcity asset. And so just basically what I'm trying to say, I guess, is as we, just as I'm talking about all of this right now and what is going on, and after watching that video, that I just think that everyone needs to be very cautious about, when they decide to invest in Bitcoin. And at this point, I would make it a long-term investment. I wouldn't have it more than 5% of my portfolio. I would definitely think about commodities and investing in commodities as we go into this time of great uncertainty. But of course, we're going to watch that play out. But I definitely believe in Bitcoin and in Ethereum and the blue chip tokens, if you will, as being inflation hedges and as definitely accumulating value, especially because the technology is behind Ethereum, Sol, Matic, Phantom. I mean, all those blue chip coins in my mind have that technology behind them. But are we ready for that technology? Like the .com crash that we had, we just weren't ready for it yet. But no one was on the internet then. We are all on the internet now. So, we don't know what's going to happen. But again, what I'm trying to say is just go into this market as educated as you possibly can to make the best trading decisions possible. But I think definitely Bitcoin, Ethereum, and those blue chip tokens are at least should be 5% of your portfolio. And I would say don't FOMO in right now. We're going to have some peaks and dips now until certain levels of resistance are broken through and they have been retested at least 3 times. We are not in a bull market. We are in a bear market. And I'd say just save your money, save your assets, keep your fiat, and wait, because altcoins will go down with Bitcoin as well. They are all interconnected. They have not decoupled yet. So wait to see what Bitcoin does. Be patient, my friends. Be patient. Because patience is your friend. I promise you. And I would make sure that you have some fiat on the side, some money that you have, mattress money, whatever. Not financial advice, but I would definitely say yes. Buy the dip, quote unquote, but buy the real dip, buy the actual dip, buy what market value is. What is the market value of Bitcoin? What is the value of Bitcoin? Well, it's what a consumer is willing to pay for it, what a consumer deems the value of Bitcoin is. The vast majority of consumers, not the whales that keep acquiring because they just have money coming out their asses for whatever reason. But I'm saying the people like you and me, the average Joes that are like, all right, where do I see myself feeling comfortable buying Bitcoin and buy it at that price? I've said before in my past videos, I have orders set for 28,000, 21,000, 16,000. Now, if it doesn't go down that much, okay, I still have my fiat. And I'll just buy it when, like I said, it retests, it hits 3 times and it goes back up. And then you monitor the market and you don't stop monitoring the market because that is your money. And as we go up, you want to make sure that all the signs and indicators are saying we are going to continue going up and take profits along the way. Anyway, that's my soapbox for today. There'll be more tomorrow. I really hope you watch that video. I'll be posting the link to it below. Please like and subscribe if you like the content and to get that algorithm out there so I get a little more airtime. That would be fantastic. I'd appreciate it. God bless everyone. Take care.